welcome back to Overdrive with myself, Tim, and Wilf, and conversation this time about how not just racing teams but the whole motor industry in general has worked with this COVID-19 coronavirus situation. Lots going on out there, particularly in terms of trying to develop ventilators and produce safety equipment. But what are your thoughts on how race teams and the industry as a whole has responded?
And race teams in particular have responded brilliantly. If you look at Mercedes, who have actually simplified the design, and actually, as well as simplifying the design for a ventilating system, have also made it 70% more efficient in its use of oxygen for patients, which is actually, when you've got so many patients, a huge thing. And they're producing thousands, and they've actually released the details even of how to make the tooling for patent-free onto the internet, so other people can take full advantage. And you look at that and you think, you know what, that's actually people doing the right thing and in the best possible way. And then when you look, there's other teams that are producing things as well, like McLaren and various other teams. You think, yeah, this is some real positive impact. These teams are genuinely using their technological abilities to actually save lives. It's people say, oh, how does Formula One really affect my life? Well, here you go.
Yeah,
they was late coming into it. It was a bit late. It was only after pressure that when we realised in this situation that we was like in dire straits of coming up with ventilators and stuff like that, that they turned to the Formula One teams to do it. The Formula One teams didn't come forward. They turned to them and said, can you do it? Can you make this better? Can you make one? And they went, well, of course we can. Like, yeah, well, we're freaking geniuses. Well, what do you expect? And they do.
Yeah, okay.
But they should have been there from the outset going, look, we got sod all to do. We ain't got no racing. Right, let's step up and let's do something for you.
Well, okay, that's one view. It's I guess what's interesting as well is looking at the wider motor industry as a whole. There have been reports recently about the Ford site at Dagenham being because of the way that some of that is laid out and set up, that production there is moving from where they have been producing diesel engines to move over to making ventilators and also other PPE equipment. There's some of the smaller teams out there that are utilising 3D printing technology to produce some of the PPE equipment for the NHS as well. So there is a lot going on out there in terms of what can be done. But I think as you're right there, Wilf, should it have been a more of an upfront look, this is what we can do, rather than having been put into a corner?
I mean, I don't think they were put into a corner. I just think that they were a bit slow to react to the stuff that they can achieve. We see what they can achieve and what effects, positive effects that it's had. I just think that it was a bit slow on the motor industry, that of them coming forward with doing the advances that they can achieve.
Okay, is there an element of that that's political as well, because there was uncertainty around what was happening with the furlough situation? There has been a lot of uncertainty in general about lockdown, about people working. Do you think there's been an element of that that's caused this type of delay?
Well, I mean, no, because it'd be classified properly under essential worker, wouldn't it? It would be classified. I mean, you're making something for the medical staff.
Yeah, but,
I mean,
but
how can that not be?
Oh, I'm not saying that it's not essential, but I guess if there's been, I guess, trying to repurpose some of these facilities to making this equipment, making this vital equipment that is needed, is very much needed, but also maintaining the 2 meter distances and so on.
Yep.
That's not going to be an easy thing.
Yep. Yes.
Tim agrees.
Exactly.
Yeah, the fabulous moment when you get offered a cup of tea repeatedly.
But Tim, in all seriousness, do you agree with that?
So I'll be honest. It's I think the teams reacted as soon as they realistically could. They have been backed into a position of actually having to continue to develop cars, because actually they were all instructed to turn up in Australia, and actually the people that be should never have actually let that happen. These teams could well have reacted a lot quicker if they hadn't been forced into a sort of bizarre situation. It's I think the teams can't really be held to fault here, and neither can manufacturers really. There's a lot of political decisions that have gone on which they're not in control of. So actually their response times have been heroic, really. You think how long it normally takes for product development, and Mercedes actually developed something from nowhere in an industry that you nothing about, and actually have the product launched and already operating models. Sorry, that's a brilliant turnaround. They got type approval that quickly. Outside of wartime, have you ever heard of anything that quick?
No, it is a very interesting point, and it is almost like a wartime situation with a lot of these factories being moved over to other purposes. Even James Dyson, we know that he was working on an electric car, so we can kind of bring that into this a little bit. But some of the work that he's been doing in repurposing his factories over to production as well. So it's not just the automotive industry. I think there are a lot of other industries out there that have had to take a little bit of a look, but it's not I guess it can't be an easy thing, having been in that environment, to change all of that equipment, all of those processes and procedures around, and to do it whilst maintaining this 2 meter gap.
Oh, very much. And this 2 meter gap's a huge thing. It's you think how many jobs are actually impacted by that. I mean, there's key workers all over that literally cannot observe this. I mean, frankly, hospital workers, they can't be 2 meters apart.
No, but then they do have full PPE, or supposed to have full PPE.
Yeah, it's supposed to have. And this is it. There's so many challenges here, and so many places have got to totally adapt actually how they're doing things, just to try and make an effort. And actually, you look at it, it's to be completely applauded. I mean, how quickly could you repurpose a factory normally?
Exactly. It's and that's the point. It's not an easy thing to do, but where do we see this going in the future? Is this we've already seen McLaren and Williams have offshoots. McLaren Applied Technologies, Williams Advanced Engineering, that have gone off and done things in other industries. Williams did the refrigerated airfoils for supermarkets. McLaren have done work with one of the toothpaste manufacturers in streamlining the process of making and bottling or tubing up toothpaste. So do we now start to see some of these other teams getting into that type of consultancy, advanced engineering type work?
Well, I can see a lot more businesses being generated from the offshoots of this, because of where the teams and manufacturers have found that they can do all various bits and pieces. Imagine they still all had their staff, right? And they and they went, right, we can do all this stuff now. How many more different types of businesses and stuff would come out of what we know now and what they can create to expand? So we can only assume that our business, when it goes back to normal, is going to get better because of all the different companies that have advanced into different capabilities.
What do you think that Renault could diversify into making reliable engines for them Formula One cars?
Let's not go this far.
Well, yeah, that's we need to be realistic about some of this, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, you know what happened to my Citroen.
Yeah, it's a Citroen, not a Renault. But yeah, okay, I get the point.
It's French engine, exactly the same, all across the board.
Okay.
They're just rubbish.
Okay.
So, sorry, Renault, but your engines are rubbish.
Wilf there just completely having a go at the nation that invented Grand Prix racing. Guys, we're going to leave that one there. I think it has been good to see the response from not just motor racing but the motoring world in the whole COVID-19 situation. We focused just about what's happening here in the UK, but there are manufacturers globally, race teams globally that are getting involved with the efforts to keep key workers safe, keep health staff safe, and it's to them we say a big thank you.
Yep, and any key workers out there right now, a massive thank you for keeping everyone going and everyone safe.
Yeah, I take my hat to every member of all the medical staff across all the boards, from in any industry that keeps you as a key worker in the line of all this COVID-19. Take my hat off.
Thank you, Wilf.
See, I had my haircut as well for that.
We see that. Thank you, everybody, and thank you very much for watching, and we hope to catch you again soon. Stay safe.